Hey, Transmath class, this is our last section for chapter 2, so this was a long one, 15 or 14 sections, so we are on 2.14, last section for chapter 2. All right, so again, most of these are starting off with some inequality statements, so we're just going to do some comparisons, so I think you're getting pretty used to these. So number 1, we've got 3/4, which is less than 1, compared to 4/2, which is more than 1, so that's a less than. 5/6, 5 is less than 6, 6/6 is equal to 1, so that has to be less than. 7/9, less than 1, but so is 3/8. So now you have to say, well, is 7 closer to 9 or is it closer to 0? That's closer to 9. 3 is closer to 0 than it is to 8. So that makes 7/9 greater. Now, another trick that I've shown some of you when it's not as clear, you can multiply. 9 times 3, 27, and then, so you kind of you diagonally multiply like this. 9 times 3 is 27. 8 times 7 is 56. Then you can say, okay, 56 is greater than 27. That's another trick you can do on any of these fractions, okay? All right, 1/10. So 1/10 is definitely less than 1/2, right? And 8/8, which is equal to 1, is going to be less than 8/4 because 8/4 is bigger than 1. All right, now we're going to just give some more solutions here. Looks like they all have common denominators. We're going to label our answer as proper or improper, okay? So 15 minus 5 is 10. We get 10/10, and that is improper. 12 minus 5 is 7. That's 7/8, and that one will be proper. 14 minus 1 is 13. 13/12, that one is improper. 3/4 minus 2/4, that's going to equal 1/4. That is a proper fraction. And 7/6 minus 1/6 is going to be 6/6. That is improper. Same top and bottom number. How do we know if we made a mistake? Okay, so they're going to focus on here, does the answer make sense? Okay. Let's move on here. Okay, so how do we avoid making mistakes? Look at the denominators. Remember that the denominators need to be the same. Use what we know about the magnitude of fractions to check the answer. Does it make sense when you compare? Okay, look carefully at the operation. Make sure is it addition or subtraction. Okay, so here the directions say, okay, identify whether each answer is correct or incorrect, right? C if it's correct, I if it's incorrect, okay? So when we look at this one, all right, so it says 6/8 minus 2/4, and they say the answer is 2/8. Well, let's see. In order to do this problem, we're going to have to make a common denominator, multiplying by 2. And so it would be 6/8 minus 4/8, and that would equal 2/8, so that is correct. All right. Now here I see a common mistake. See, the denominators are different, and they just went 7 minus 2 and said 5. So that can't be right because they had different denominators, so they couldn't do that. So this one's incorrect. All right. Next one, 2/3 plus 2/3. Well, 2 plus 2 is 4, but remember, you don't change the denominators. You don't add those together, so that's not right. That's incorrect. All right, here we've got 8/6 plus 2/3. Okay, well, maybe that's right. Let's see. So we have to get a common denominator, multiplying by 2. So I have 8/6 plus 4/6. 8 plus 4 is 12, so 12/6 is correct. So put a C for that one. And on this last one, common mistake it looks like is they just subtracted 8 minus 1 and subtracted the denominators as well, and that is not correct. That's not the way you do that. Yeah, we'd have to get a common denominator to get that answer. Okay, so our problem solving activity, more of the same. So looks like we've got pipes, different length pipes, and they're going to ask us, probably to do the difference or combining them and so on. So we've got the different fractions here, okay? Okay, let's see what we got here. So it says combine. Combine means to add. Okay, so we're going to add D and C. All right, so D and C, so that's 2/3 and 1/4. All right, so 2/3 plus 1/4. Now we need a common denominator. We're going to get a 12 as a common denominator. So multiplying by 4/4 and by 3/3 so that I can get that common denominator 12. So I'm going to have 8/12 plus, and over here I'd have 3/12, and that's going to give me 11/12 for my answer. Okay, here it says cut off, so that's going to be subtract, right? So we're going to cut off 3/8 from pipe A. Well, let's see, how long was pipe A? So A was 1 whole unit, right? Okay, so we're going to, if we have 1 whole unit, we're going to call that 8/8, and we're going to cut off or subtract 3/8. It's going to leave us with 5/8. Okay. All right, how much longer? Again, that means subtract. That's a difference, the difference between. So this is subtract B and D. All right, what do we have for B and D? B, we've got 7/8, and D, we've got 1/4. So 7/8 minus 1/4. All right, so 8 and 4, I can make that 4 and 8 if I multiply by 2/2. Okay, so I'm going to have 7/8 minus 2/8, which is going to be 5/8. And finally, cut off, so we saw that again. That means subtract 1/2 from C. Okay, C was 2/3, so we're going to have 2/3 minus 1/2. And we've got a 3 and a 2. Our common multiple would have to be a 6. So I'm going to multiply by 2's there and by 3's here. And so that's going to give us 4/6 minus 3/6. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 1/6 would be our answer. And all right. Here are some last questions related to combining. Okay, combine. So combine, that means we're going to add on all of these, right? For combining, combine. Okay. So B with D, what do we have? B with D, that would be 7/8 plus 1/4. Okay, so 7/8 plus 1/4. And so for that one, we are going to multiply by 2, and we're going to get 7/8 plus 2/8, and that's going to equal 9/8. Okay. All right, next one. We've got combine D and C together. Okay, well, D was 1/4. And what is C? C is 2/3. So we've got 4 and 3. We're going to make 12. So times 3 times 3 times 4 and times 4. So that's going to be 3/12 plus 8/12. Adding the 3 and the 8, we get 11. So we get 11/12. All right, last one. I think this is the last one. Yep. It says combine B and C this time. Okay, so we're going to combine B and C, and we are going to see what? B and C. 7/8 plus 2/3. Okay. So we're going to say 7/8 plus 2/3. We got 8 and 3. We're going to have to multiply those together and get 24. So times 8 times 8 times 3 times 3. So that's 21/24 plus 16/24. And 21 plus 16, we're going to get 37/24. And that would be our combined lengths for pipes B and C. Okay, and that's the last set of notes for Chapter 2.